we're there taking pictures with her. But look, at the end of the day, that's not what we're making the video about today. So, if you guys don't know, the Indiana Fever went and tweeted out, and by the way, this is like in the aftermath, and this is why I think a big reason why they're posting this stuff. This is in the aftermath of the reopening of the people.
Take another look at that moment. After the game, players from the Brazilian national team lined up not to take photos with their own teammates, not with other Team USA stars, but with Caitlin Clark. That's not typical fan behavior. That's worldwide recognition, a level of influence that stretches far beyond box scores or league boundaries. And it's exactly why this moment makes some people uncomfortable. It challenges the notion that her impact has been exaggerated. The scale of it became even clearer when the Indiana Fever social media team asked a simple question. Where are you watching from? What followed wasn't a few replies from Indiana, it was an avalanche. Thousands of fans from over 40 countries across 6 continents responded. Viewers in Ireland stayed up until 3 a.m. just to catch tip-off. Fans in the Philippines set alarms before sunrise. Kids in Uganda proudly wore her Iowa jersey. And none of this was staged. No promotional push, no coordinated campaign. Just real people rearranging their lives to watch one player perform in a league many hadn't even known existed 2 years ago. This isn't hype. This is global reach. And it's already reshaping the game.
It's for a lot of young people, teachers, and it is an interesting thing because it's during the summer, a lot more people can go and watch the games because they're able to stay up a little bit later. Netherlands, South Carolina, Oceania, Argentina, Kansas, Vegas, Vermont, Illinois, Minnesota, Texas, Florida, Massachusetts, Oregon, Texas, Milwaukee, Norway, New England, Zagreb.
This is a point everyone misses when the conversation turns to who Caitlin Clark's fans are. Basketball isn't confined to the United States. It never has been. The sport thrives everywhere. The Philippines has more registered basketball players per capita than nearly any country in the world. In Uganda, kids grow up playing on dirt courts with rims welded together from scrap. Slovenia produces NBA MVPs. Norway runs its own professional leagues. These aren't fringe audiences. They are deeply invested basketball-first cultures. And when a player breaks through, performs at an elite level, and makes the game thrilling to watch, those fans don't hesitate. They lock in. They did for Stephen Curry during the Warriors' 2016 run, for Allen Iverson in the early 2000s, and for Magic Johnson in the 1980s. Now, they're doing the same for Caitlin Clark during WNBA summers. The Indiana Fever's tweet wasn't meant to make a statement. It was just a question. But the responses told a story anyway, one that completely undermines a narrative pushed relentlessly over the past year. The global audience has already spoken.
Mexico, it's a different country again. Chile again. Cardiff. I think we've seen Puerto Rico, haven't we? I'm trying to see how many. Singapore, it's another country. South Africa. Ghana. And that's the thing where it's like, basketball is absolutely a world game. And I do feel like this is almost like a hitting back on the Sue Bird thing. And I do feel like a lot of people were there in the comment section of that. A lot of people were there in the comment section below we're going like, yeah, when you're one. By the way, I can't remember, I don't even know what her name was.
Here's the context that really matters. Just days before that tweet went out, a guest on a well-known sports podcast made a claim that's been circulating more and more in certain WNBA media spaces. She suggested that Caitlin Clark's following is mostly made up of people who don't even watch the games, fans supposedly drawn to her for reasons unrelated to basketball. Then came the follow-up question. Does she watch WNBA games? Her response was immediate. No, she doesn't, but she supports women's sports. That clip spread quickly, and for good reason. The contradiction was impossible to miss. Someone confidently analyzing the motivations of millions of fans, while openly admitting she doesn't consume the product herself. And this wasn't an isolated moment. It fits into a larger trend where certain voices around the league have worked overtime to undermine Clark's fan base, framing their interest as anything but genuine appreciation for the game. The argument collapses, however, when you look at the evidence. The people replying to Indiana's tweet aren't passive spectators. They aren't just scrolling highlights and calling it fandom. They're rearranging their lives, staying up late, waking up early, and making real sacrifices to watch live basketball.
To watch the Indiana Fever play because I hate the WNBA. It's the most bullshit thing ever. They're the most diverse fan base in the world. I don't think they are. Like, if you've ever been to the Philippines, it's just basketball mad. Philippine America started in Bangkok, Thailand after meeting Catch in 2013. From the Manila, Philippines. The longer thread, the more impressive and more important it becomes. But it still doesn't matter. You can have every one of these threads. Caitlin Clark could pack out a 30,000-seater stadium.
Stop and consider what it actually takes to follow a WNBA game from overseas. Most Indiana Fever games tip off around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern, which means viewers in Ireland and the UK are watching at 1 or 2 a.m. Fans in the Philippines are tuning in around 6 or 7 a.m., and in Saudi Arabia, it's closer to 3 or 4 a.m. Those are brutal time slots. No one just stumbles into that. You don't catch those games by accident while flipping channels. You plan for them, set alarms, sacrifice sleep, and do it repeatedly. And it's not just for headline matchups, but for ordinary regular season games in the middle of June and July. That's not hate watching. That's not chasing drama. That's real fandom, built on respect for how someone actually plays the game. And the replies didn't stop there. Madagascar, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Chile, Norway, Singapore, Ghana. Every location pointing to the same true fans finding Caitlin Clark's game. It's compelling enough to push past serious logistical hurdles just to watch her compete.
You could have a fill-out 15,000-seater arena in Sweden and sell it out in 10 seconds, and they would still say that it's just a bunch of racist Americans that showed up in Sweden. Like, they'll still put that narrative. You know, all those kids in Uganda. There was all the kids in Uganda that watched the Caitlin Clark games, and there were still some people saying, oh no, it was just racist Americans that brought Caitlin Clark gear and handed it to the kids. They didn't even know what they were wearing. And they were literally talking about how they...
This is why the international angle matters so much. Fans watching from outside the United States aren't plugged into America's culture wars. They aren't following domestic narratives or engaging in endless social media debates. They're simply watching the game and asking one question. Is this worth my time? Global fans aren't swayed by the side controversies that dominate much of the WNBA conversation. Their focus is straightforward. Can the player pull up from 30 feet? Can she thread passes that turn into instant highlights? Are the games competitive, fast, and fun to watch? Judged by that standard alone, Caitlin Clark has built a worldwide following on a scale the league has rarely, if ever, seen. The Indiana Fever social media team didn't need to spend a moment or add commentary. They let the evidence speak for itself. Thousands of replies from dozens of countries showed real engagement from people who have no reason to care about this league, except one: the quality of the basketball.
No one is following a basketball player for any reason other than basketball. And maybe in America they are, but I don't know. I'm not American. It's why it's such a crazy concept to me that it's a suggestion. And when you've got people staying up, and not people in the tens, people in the thousands, staying up till 1, 2, 3 a.m. to watch this one player play. I haven't seen that. As someone from Ireland, I have not seen that since Stephen Curry. That is not something that's happened since the Stephen Curry boom of 2016 with the Warriors. People in Ireland don't really stay up to watch NBA games anymore because there is not that one superstar.
Yet, even with all that evidence out in the open, the reaction from certain corners of WNBA media was entirely predictable. The story didn't change. If anything, it hardened. Because accepting the reality of Clark's global fan base would mean admitting something uncomfortable, that maybe she really is that captivating as a basketball player. For reasons that are complex and not easy to discuss, some people who cover the league still aren't willing to confront that truth. So the response becomes avoidance, excuses, and claims that the international interest isn't real, that it's staged or artificially boosted. Some even suggest that fans overseas are merely extensions of American audiences. At one point, viewers in Uganda were framed not as genuine fans, but as stand-ins. To believe that thousands of people across more than 40 countries are all faking their interest in Indiana Fever basketball requires an incredible amount of mental gymnastics. Watching that argument twist itself into knots is exhausting in itself.